Setting intentions. Every year you plan to do something, or even set goals, or set yourself something you want to do for the year. You get all excited, you get caught up in the hype, and you get into it, and then nix, nada, nothing happens. And you might wonder why. I'm going to share with you my experience, and particularly through the lens of trauma, something you could do that will help you to do this, and why you perhaps can't. I'm Chantal from Unfold Your Freedom, and I'm a holistic counsellor. Took me a long time to be able to look at setting goals. I found that very, very difficult, and I meant to look up here, and particularly because they said you have to be very specific, so you had to do what they call the SMART system. So I did this. I did it every year for years. This is when I had my natural skincare business, and while I was experiencing trauma, I had no idea that I was setting things too high. That was not what I wanted. I didn't get it because I was caught up in doing what everyone else wanted to do. So the complex PTSD that triggered after a car accident took me back into that part of me that was lost, confused. I was listening to authority. I had no idea what I was doing. And I got caught up in the hype of, I wanted, I had a skincare product. Where could I take this internationally, worldwide, make a fortune? When in reality, number one, at that point, I was incapable of doing it with where I was at. And now that I'm older and it healed and in a different space and now doing counseling instead, I actually didn't want that. I actually didn't want that responsibility, but I wanted to keep up with everyone else and do that. So SMART goals this is why I found it very difficult. You have to be specific. Now, when you've been through trauma, you can't see a future. And I never understood that. So even when I did guided visualizations and I did, the boards, mood boards or what I wanted for the year, all that sort of stuff. And I could never understand why it didn't feel right and it didn't work, no matter what I put up there. So I now call it my creative board, and I do it very differently. So I call it setting intentions. In fact, loose goals, things that are really achievable. So that's number one, be specific. Then they need to be measurable. So you need to be able to say you want to get this done by a certain date or within months or whatever. Then you can keep going. Now, a lot of people can do this. So don't misunderstand. People can do this. It's just that I couldn't. And I'm wondering whether you can, and particularly if you've, as I said, experienced something where you've got mental health issues now and being through trauma, grief, depression, anxiety, all those things can hold you back from seeing the future and believing in yourself and trusting that you can have it. Do you deserve? The other one is achievable. So of course I made goals, remember, way too big. I never checked in here because when you go through the trauma, and in my case, as I kept mentioning, complex PTSD, I've just lost what I was going to say. That's right, I never checked in. Does this feel reasonable? Can I do it? Is this what I want? So I didn't check into my body, what really matters for me. And that is what I'm going to come back to. That is the question you're going to actually ask yourself to start is, what matters for you? Then the other one is, of course, is it relevant? Well, I suppose in a way it was relevant because I was running a skincare range and I wanted it, it was a beautiful one, and I did want to go out there into the world. I wanted to make a difference in women's lives, which I do now, but in a different way, and time bound. So, again, putting that into a time. So I said that with measurable. So, and I found this, I realized now, way too binding. What it did for me, because I was already so caught up in this small world of mine to keep safe and everything had to be like this, that I got bound in that. So I really contracted and I couldn't see the bigger picture. I was not capable of seeing the bigger picture. I've mentioned in one of my previous videos, which I can't remember which one. If you live in Australia, you understand NBN, where it's all the wiring for our internet systems and phones is just all completely chaotic. Or you can look at it as spaghetti, you have nothing there, nothing computes. So I couldn't see a bigger future. I couldn't see how I'd make this happen. I didn't feel I deserved. I just was lip service. So of course, each time it failed, it didn't work because I didn't fit this SMART system. I felt a failure. There was something wrong with me. But I kept going, kept feeling a failure, kept going, kept feeling a failure. So, it's how can you do it differently? As I said, to suit you, your needs, and where you are right now. And, someone might do you might do a small goal or intention. That someone might go, no, I can do a big one. But remember, it's what's right for you. And only now this year am I excited because I've actually set some intentions, but I've given myself the space that if they don't happen in the time frame I've given myself, because I now listen to my intuition, I listen to flow, I've got someone supporting me. This is around writing my memoir, and this is bringing all these issues up. I'd like to do something by September. And at the moment, it may not happen, because my memoir coach is going through something too. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I've set the intention, and all these other amazing things are coming in because I've been open to flow. I've been open to opportunities. I can now see what can happen for me, and I feel like I deserve, which is really, really exciting. So just sit here for a moment and think, what do I deserve? And as I said, what matters for me, all right? So, and again, remember demoralising. So in the end, I did nothing. I let it all go. And of course, my business folded. There was many other reasons why that happened. And I hid for a few years. But I needed to do that to come back, to really work out, who am I? What do I want? Where am I now? Do I want to make those big dollars and have all those clients and all that? Actually, no, I don't. So I'm going to be doing in the next few weeks a video trauma around money, because that will also help you what intentions to set. What is it you want? How much do you need to make? So that's a whole nother thing, okay? So the big thing is to do it your way. This is something I'm now really, really working on with clients and with myself and whoever who wants to listen to me. So like even on here, it's about learning to do it your way, because who says? No, we are so bound by society and education and coaches and all sorts of things, counselors, whatever it might be, even though I'm a holistic counselor. You've got to learn to discern. And that is what was taught to me by my counselor. And that is what I want to teach you or clients who come to me, is working out what's right for you. Because the words that they used in my training was, you're the expert of your life. In fact, you are. It's just you've lost sight of it. So it's allowing yourself to be inspired rather than feeling you should or have. So what inspires you? What do you love? You might even get a pen and paper out now and just write anything down, no matter how illogical it might seem or be. It doesn't matter, because what's that doing is getting that creativity happening, that intuition happening, that flow happening, and things coming in that you never even thought of. Who would have thought I'd be doing art and writing a memoir and looking at having a goal of doing an exhibition on that, with a launch? Wow. Now, whether it'll happen or not, I don't know. So I'm even a bit hesitant to say that, but that's an intention I'm setting. If it doesn't happen this year, it'll happen next year. So what happens is it creates a whole different energy around you, and it's incredibly freeing, because you go, wow, look around you. What is it I want? Because that means you're listening to your inner voice, your wisdom, your intuition. And that takes practice. I had to learn to trust my intuition. I had to trust that I have wisdom within me, that there's this inner strength, that there's this confidence. What it does, it brings also a softness and a gentleness to your actions, to your life, how you want to do things. You allow things to happen. See, when we're in trauma, we come from a base of fear. We come from a base of striving and doing, because we don't know how to stop. We keep going. We sit in that logic, reasoning mind, even though mine was all over the place. That was easier for me to be in than in this soft, gentle, creative, intuitive energy that really supports you when you can actually work with both. And it just helps with, as I said, your actions and your thoughts. And it flows, because when you feel it, there's no hesitation, there's no doubt. And even if there is doubt, you just know that's your ego. Right? So when you feel it in here, you go, oh, wow. And it can be completely illogical. Let me tell you, it can be completely illogical. As I said to you, when it came to me the end of last year, when I was starting to look at this year and doing it differently and setting my word for the year, because I love to set my word for the year. I'll come back to that. That came through in a meditation. I was like, no. But it kept coming in. I went, okay, I'll listen. I'll put it out there and see what happening. Things already are in the most unexpected ways. And it brings in for yourself, you start to have love and compassion for yourself and fun and playfulness. Because who doesn't want that? But when you've been through something really hard in your life, you lose that sense of fun, play, creativity, and joy, that smile on your face. So as I said, I set loose goals now. I take the pressure off myself, and because I don't want to feel like a failure, because everything I do now is a success. Whether it worked or not, I gave it a go. Because that's another thing we find when we've been through trauma. We find it hard to take risks and step out. And I also talk about this in the trauma and money video, is that we don't know how to have adventure again. We don't know how to step out and go, yeah, I can do that, not knowing how, because we need to know everything. We need to keep ourselves safe. It needs to be predictable. But when you set these intentions, whether in business or personal life, let me tell you, you've got to do that to be able to set out and then find the ways to do it. And then look at, so again, this is coming back to setting your intentions, looking at what's holding you back. What are your beliefs, your limiting beliefs, the negative thoughts that are going on, those little voices, where does it come from? So it's about listening or hearing the song of your heart, and you can learn to dance in a whole new way. And I'm going to read this beautiful quote from Seneca, who was a Roman philosopher. Life is not about waiting for the rain to stop, but about learning to dance in the rain. And just visualize that, dancing in the rain, allowing yourself to get wet. How does it make you feel, the playfulness, the childlikeness coming back in? So what you're going to do is, how you're going to set yourself up is you're going to sit down somewhere. I've got a video that I'll help you with to create your sacred space if you don't already have one. And I also have one on journaling, so you might be able to write these things out too. You can also do it creatively, whichever way you want. And actually, just the previous one, just a week or so ago, so what are we now? The beginning of January, or the 15th of January, I did with my colleague, my beautiful friend, our art jam for healing. We did one on how to set intentions with your art. Different way of doing it. I loved it because I learned a lot from her. So what you want to do is just sit down and feel into how you want to feel for this year. Now, always remember, you can do this any time of the year. You don't have to do it at the beginning of the year. You can do it when you've achieved something and you want to carry on. So make it fun, exciting, encouraging, get into the discomfort. It's just a beautiful way of doing this. Allow yourself to push your boundaries. Right, sit down. So what you're going to do is ask yourself this question, which I've already said. What really matters to you, not anyone else, to you? And that's one of the hardest things to do when you've been also brought up in a home like I was, that was dysfunctional and violent. I didn't know how to ask for my needs. I didn't know how to ask, even step out there. I didn't feel I was worthy. I didn't know how to set prices in my business. I didn't feel I deserved. How many of you can relate to that? Whereas now I do, and what a difference it makes. That happens. So we come back to what happens is you find your flow, there's a beautiful effortlessness. It feels right. Oh my God, there's such a difference. And it's simply accepting and trusting what's coming up and what you need to do. Okay, so you're going to let go of all those, not only your internal voice, but all those around you. Because if you don't truly and deeply listen and believe in what you want to do, well, it's not going to actually come to life or even go in a different direction because you're holding yourself back. And it'll only remain at a certain level no matter what you do. So it's about really being honest. So make sure you make yourself time, sit quietly, write, get your journal out, favorite pens. If you go blank, just simply tune into your body. Just keep tuning into your body. Do you feel safe? Do you feel afraid or excited? So again, you're going to ask yourself these questions. Who would you be if this happened? And then who would you need to become or do to make this happen? Because that's going to then challenge you and take you into that discomfort. What do you need to change? It might be circumstances, it might be your thinking. So that way, that'll help you to look at where you want to go. How does it benefit you? So again, value yourself. How is this going to benefit you to do this? And then what you can do is, how is this going to benefit those around you? Think of yourself first, all right? And again, do you believe you can do this? If you keep saying no, keep asking why. Why? Do I believe this? No. Why? No. Why? And then say because. This will all help you unfold, okay? Simply listen. So take all the pressure off. It might happen in a day. It might happen over a few days. It might take weeks. It might take months, but you've started. You've got the ball rolling. Because this will then show you what you want from life, what you value, where you've been, give you understanding. So as we come to the end, I'm going to give you 10 journaling prompts. What do you want to experience of more of this year or this time? So what do you want less of this year? So you're going to look back at last year. What did you like? What didn't you like? What do you want to change? What is one promise to yourself for this year? One promise. That can be all it is. You make a promise. Doesn't mean a commitment. Make a promise. Okay? What habits, beliefs, or situations are you ready to release to make space for new experiences and opportunities? It might be, as you said, you might need to let go of friends. You might need to let go of a habit. You might need to just change things around. So what is holding you back from releasing the above and living your best life? And it might even be, you have to ask yourself, what would your best life look like? I had to do that. I didn't know what my best life looked like because I've been struggling for way too long. What have you been dreaming of to create and bring to life? Oh, I'd love you to share that if you feel comfortable, like I've just shared mine before. Put it out there. Doesn't matter if it happens or not, but put it out there and feel excited as you do that, as well as most probably fear and anticipation. How do you want to feel? Remember, when we've been through trauma, we numb out. We actually don't know how we feel. So how do you want to feel? Excitement, fun, love, joy, compassion, success, all those wonderful things. And now, this is the really important thing. What do you notice and feel in your body? So I want you to feel into this, not just your mind, feel into it. And do you feel safe? So that was a big thing for me when I stepped out, when I was doing it all the way. I never felt safe, but I didn't get it that I didn't feel safe. So I've stepped out way too far of my comfort zone. Now I know. Now I can play with the energy and go, yeah, I can do that. No, I can't. Bring it here. You play around with that. Then lastly, what boundaries can you set and where can you say yes to yourself and no to others? Actually, I might put another link up to that, how to set boundaries. That's hugely important to achieve what you want, because so many of us lose those boundaries people pleasing. Now, lastly, if you want to, create a mantra about feeling. How do you want to feel? How do you want to embody all of this into your daily life? And then write it somewhere. Remember, it can keep changing because this will then support you in what you're going through. Oh, here we go. So feel, listen to your body. It'll tell you, you'll know. It may take practice. You'll keep tweaking, but this is just going to get you started. So take the time, enjoy. Please share, and I'd love to hear if you're willing to tell me what's come up for you. Have a fantastic year, and you can use this, as I said, anytime, and particularly next year when it comes again. Have a wonderful year, and a wonderful time, and a wonderful life.